and explain some clues that I think might help solve the case and hopefully discover her alive. Okay, first of all, Gabby Petito is only 22 years old and she's already engaged to this guy, Brian Laundrie. He is 23. She has recently quit her job, which is kind of strange because it was going fine. And the two of them decided that they were going to go on a cross-country road trip together. A few months back, he posted this on his Instagram story. Look at the book. This is another picture he posted on his Instagram feed. It is still public. Same book, different cover. And here he made a bunch of drawings in reference to this book. Here's another cover of the book, okay? So this guy Brian seems to be a really huge fan of the book. I'm going to explain what it's about and why I think that this might be relevant. Okay, after looking up and purchasing the book, for a quick summary, basically it's about this group of people that go on a road trip across the country, and they're trying to find this book that basically is like the Death Note kind of thing, where if you read the rhyme that's contained in the book, people will die. Two of the characters on this trip are named Mona and her boyfriend, Oyster. I think Brian Laundrie was trying to replicate this story in some way, and I think that he might have believed he was Oyster. Hear me out. Oyster is described as a nihilistic environmentalist. Keep this in mind. Also, at one point, you can see it says way at the bottom that at one point in the book, the group abandons Oyster on the side of the highway, okay? This is important. I downloaded the book, and it says in the description of Oyster that his face and hands are smeared with blood, the devil's face, and he has a red goatee, okay, because it's covered in blood. Brian also has a goatee. This could have been intentional, this could just be a coincidence. Here's a more clear image. I think that's a goatee. I literally read the entire book in one night, and some other things about Oyster is that he doesn't wear shoes. This is another important thing to keep in mind. He is noted to have calluses on the bottom of his feet that are cracked and dirty. Okay, he has dirty feet, he doesn't wear shoes. Also, on this road trip, they drive through Colorado, Kansas, and Missouri, all states that Brian and Gabby drove through on their road trip. Okay, also, there are mentions of domestic disturbance calls to the police in the book. Might just be another coincidence. Watch part 2, this is all gonna make sense really soon. Okay, something is very fishy about this Gabby Petito. The Oyster character in the book does not wear shoes, he has dirty feet, he refuses to eat out of plastic containers, and he doesn't eat meat. He preaches about veganism. He goes on these rants about how people don't deserve to be on the earth, and how he would be willing to off himself and his girlfriend if it meant bringing about a better place for, like, the environment, if that makes any sense, okay? Here is the passage in which he gets locked out of the car, because he assaults someone. Strange. And here's where he says, these are like his final words as he's getting locked out. He says, "You can forget me, but that doesn't mean I don't still exist. For whatever reason, the first gypsy moth that flew out a window in Medford, Massachusetts comes to mind. Keep in mind this moth." Basically, because of the way that the book is written, the characters are able to pass in and out of each other's bodies. So at the end of the book, Mona and Oyster, the boyfriend and girlfriend who went on this cross-country road trip together, both end up missing. Neither of them are killed, they are both missing, and that's how the book ends. This is literally the last page of the book, or second to last page, and it says, "To find Mona and Oyster, you only have to look for the Fantastic for Miracles, the amazing tabloid headlines." There are headlines about Gabby and Brian right now in the tabloids. "The young couple seen crossing Lake Michigan on foot in July. Their trip took place between June and August, which includes July." Very strange, okay? Now I'm going to try and make some connections. Here's Brian's Instagram page back a year ago in 2020. All of his captions were pretty average, short, normal Instagram captions. There's another one, and this is when he first moves into the van with his girlfriend, okay? 1 year ago. As they take this cross-country trip, his Instagram captions start getting longer and kind of stranger. They are all about nature and using different wording than he previously did. Here he says, beautiful park with an unfortunate infestation of human beings. This is very similar to something Oyster would have said in Lullaby. This entire caption is about avoiding plastic containers and plastic waste. This is his last Instagram post before he vanished and his girlfriend went missing. It's all about how humans basically don't deserve to be on this earth. Okay, I know I sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist right now, but this is all going to tie together. Watch part 3, and I'm showing you the body cam footage where this starts to get really weird. Looking for freaking ever, I'm just trying to be thorough because I don't want anything to go unnoticed. Okay, now I'm gonna play the body cam footage. Also, ignore my hair. I have a hair mask in, please. But, in the footage, there's just so many points in which his characteristics line up with Oyster, like, in such peculiar ways that I just cannot explain it. In this first clip, they have just run out of water, Brian and Gabby. They're in the middle of a desert. It's 100+ degrees out, and they are being questioned by the police. So, I don't know why he would turn down water, but he states that it's because he doesn't like plastic containers, just like Oyster. Like, I don't care how much you don't like plastic. If you're in the desert in 100+ degrees, you're probably gonna accept a water.
Do you need any water? It's okay. It's hot out. I was going to get water because it ran out, but it's okay. No, it's okay. I don't like plastic bottles.
Okay, could just really be into saving the planet, I guess, but here's another strange coincidence. Just like Oyster was abandoned and left by the group on this road trip, Brian states in the footage that his big fear is that Gabby's gonna go off and take the van and leave him on the side of the road, basically, just like Oyster.
Well, I was holding on to the keys because I didn't want to go anywhere. And my big fear is, I don't have my phone, I don't have a phone, so she goes off without me. Alright, I'm on my own.
Also, very strange that he's laughing and smiling throughout this whole incident while his girlfriend is literally hysterical. Now, this is the weirdest part. I noted that Oyster had dirty feet, like it specifically says that, and that he walks around barefoot everywhere. Gabby posted this on July 30th. Brian hikes barefoot everywhere we go. If it were up to him, he wouldn't own any shoes. In fact, when the police are called, because of this whole domestic violence incident, Brian claims that the entire disagreement stemmed from the fact that he had dirty feet.
It was, I wouldn't even call it disagreement. It was just I'm dirty and I can't change being dirty like I got dirty feet.
Okay, I'm sorry this is taking for freaking ever. I'm just trying to be thorough because I don't want anything to go unnoticed. Okay, now I'm gonna play the body cam footage. Also, ignore my hair. I have a hair mask in, please. But, in the footage, there's just so many points in which his characteristics line up with Oyster, like, in such peculiar ways that I just cannot explain it. In this first clip, they have just run out of water, Brian and Gabby. Okay, but remember this passage that mentions the moth after Oyster is abandoned? This is Gabby's last post, and this was actually posted the day she disappeared. A lot of people have been pointing out that her hair is freshly highlighted, and it looks like it's taken place in October or around Halloween, and we're in August, so that's kind of weird. Look at the caption. What is that moth emoji doing there? Literally, what? These are some of the comments under this post. One person pointed out her hair looking freshly dyed, which doesn't make sense because it doesn't really line up with the timeline of events. Another one where someone says it's weird to post Happy Halloween in August, and she didn't use that emoji ever, so it's just kind of like another person pointing out. Anyone bothered by the fly? It's not a fly. It's literally a moth emoji. Again, at the end of Lullaby, both Oyster and Mona are nowhere to be seen and essentially missing. I find it very strange that Brian has also not been seen since Tuesday. His Pinterest page also has some questionable albums. What do you guys think? Am I onto something? Is she out there? Are they both on the run? Did he abandon her just like Oyster? There's so many things that are possible. I just hope that she's found alive, and I hope he's not the crazy psycho that I have a gut feeling he is. Okay, this is definitely... Again, I could be onto absolutely nothing, but I really just want to find her. I do know that there was a body found near the area where they were camping, and right now the police are trying to figure out, who the body is. After going through Brian's page and considering all of these books that he's been reading and posting about and pinning, I think it's pretty safe to say that he was going through some dark mental issues. All of the books that I mentioned in the last part are very depressing. Most of them are horror books. A lot of them are very serious and deal with mental illness or deal with loss of control or loss of sanity. These are all things that he has pinned. Very depressing, kind of scary, just like strange posts. This right here, red flag. This is like how a manipulative boyfriend texts. Again, this shows me mental illness, depression, struggling. Here it says, you do it to yourself, and that's what really hurts. Right below it, I'm going to talk about that in a second. Alright, he has another picture with this. It is never a good idea to do psychedelics when you are in a negative state of mind. Especially dealing with depression and mental illness. I don't think it's coincidence that he's posting about this and about to take a long road trip where they will be in the woods, isolated, away from people. They're young, they're in love, and on their own. What do you guys think? Do you think this was involved? An accident could have happened. Could have been intentional. This could have been planned. He could have been losing it from using this while reading dark books. Who knows? Again, I could be on... Sent me this in my Instagram DMs. This was posted to Gabby's Pinterest board. Okay, this is the novel Zodiac. There's also a movie if any of you guys want to watch it. If you don't like reading, but basically this is about a serial killer who is going around California killing young women and couples. And what is interesting about this serial killer is that he leaves notes, and he leaves clues behind as to why he did it and basically how he thinks he can get away with all of this. What the person pointed out who DM'd this to me was that right in this paragraph, the killer in the book is using custom cut paper stock. Okay, so this is like not your ordinary paper. It is also monarch size. That could just be a total coincidence, but Gabby's last Instagram photo was taken in front of a monarch mural. Brian also happens to have pinned DIY floral paper and a fabric moth craft kit thing. Might just be coincidences, but this is very weird with the fact that she was reading a passage about custom cut paper that a serial killer was using. Here we go again, how to make your own handmade paper. Kind of weird. He also pinned these 3 images of pumpkins, and again, the last post that Gabby made, she was holding a little pumpkin. and the caption was Happy Halloween. Lullaby also isn't the only book that is featured on their pages. It is the book that is featured the most, but there are a lot of other books by the same author, such as Fight Club. In this image, Gabby is reading Fight Club, and Brian is reading The Revenant, which is another book about very dark themes, and identity crisis, revenge, violence, death. Another picture, Gabby is reading Fight Club. Another image where Lullaby is shown. She also posted this to her story while they were on the road. It's pretty hard to see what he's reading in this one, but thanks to the internet, people were able to figure out that it is Annihilation. This image right here that he made a stamp of is a reference to the book Invisible Monsters, also by the same author of Lullaby and Fight Club. He also saved 3 pins about the Invisible Man, as well as multiple pins about the Joker movie. In the next part, I'm going to discuss how this all might be related. Okay, someone just sent me this in my Instagram DMs. This was posted as of 25 minutes ago. Gabby has been found. She is not alive. I really have no words. This is the ending that I did not think or did not hope would come true. Rest in peace to Gabby, and, you know, I didn't know her, but nobody deserves this. Nobody deserves to die at such a young age and to be found all alone in the middle of the woods. So my heart goes out to her family, and right now I think that the best thing that everyone can do is help to give information to the police to find Brian, because he is still nowhere to be seen. He is still unwilling to cooperate with the police, and I think that he holds the answers to getting some closure for Gabby's family and for Gabby herself, because she does not deserve to go out without her story being told. So thank you to everyone I don't need followers from this. I don't want clout. I just want justice, and we have not gotten enough justice for anything that's been going on in social media and society this year. So yeah, let's find Brian. Please replace my faith in humanity. As of 25